Nobody home but Papa. So you know what that means. Turn the kitchen into the Wax Slug Making arena. This is all I got on hand. These were all the weird, odd things that have just been laying around. I got some buckshots that are just loaded up with field shot and wax. This one was actually missing its power piston, so I filled it up almost all the way with wax and put a little shot at the top. That one makes me nervous. The rest of these are just random cuts, testing the trimmers. And I decided to show them to you. This is just a weird, random assortment of things. Some of them have trimmed off. Some of them have the opened. Some of them are super short buckshots. Should be interesting. And while we're on the subject of wax slugs, I mean, I had a really high rate of loose power pistons. I mean, these just drop out in my hand. Some do, some don't. Still a mystery to me. I'm going to try a different wax. I don't think Crayola is working for me. I found some on eBay, like 20 bucks shipped for 10 pounds, of real kind of like stickier wax, like you use for container candles. I'm going to try that. But the way I'm going to repair these is I'm going to put a dab of hot glue on the back of the power piston and press it down there, because these are the Federals, the two-part. They've got like a power piston and a cup. I keep calling this the power piston. This is the cup. And then there's a power piston. And I'm going to put a dab of glue on there and just glue them in. Just so that, you know, I feel comfortable using them. Just put a blob on the bottom, smear it around a little bit. Blob on the side, blob on the side. Insert the shell, rotate the shell. I found it's easier just to kind of rotate it, push it in. And you get these little blobs of hot glue, and once that cools a little bit more, it'll be easy to pop off. If you start messing with it now, it'll be all sticky. But in a second, it's cold like that, and you can just scrape it right off. Alright? Not too bad to have to repair them, but kind of weird to have to repair the ammo. Yep, there's another one. See, if I tug at them enough, if I poke at them enough, show you the little repair I'm doing here. No big deal. The idea is just to get that glue enough on there, not so much that it really binds it up, just enough to hold it until the shell is put into the gun. I want this thing to hang out in my shell belt, you know. Okay, that one's fine. That one's fine. Okay, back to the wax slug making thing going on here. So take a look at some of the different kinds of shells. This one is just a regular old, let's get you over here in the light, a regular old trimmed shell. Okay, let's just put that aside for a second. Let's hunt through here and find one. Here's one that's definitely off the shell prepper type. Okay, let's take a look at it. Just want to take out a couple of them and I'll just look at them. Okay, this one's had let me get you over in the light again. Full length shell. It looks a little ragged because I use this one over and over and over to kind of wear in the trimmers, so it's kind of worn and smooth. And this edge is a little ragged from being run around. But here's the two basic different things. You can kind of see there's a very, very slight difference in height. Hardly noticeable. My main concern is will this fall out when I go like this? No. Okay, good. So whatever my filling technique was, maybe too dry, something. Yeah, these definitely are in there for real. So I'm going to test all these just like I did with my little loose cut power piston routine with the hot glue. Make sure all of these are right. Okay, here's another weirdness. Here's the shells that I just made. I just made these. Got my wax as hot as I'm comfortable doing it with the double boiler. And I'm testing each one. So I go like this. And this time, look at this. The power piston did stay in, and you can see wax got around the power piston. Okay, so that is probably what's holding, not the power piston, the cup. The cup. Wax got around the cup. which is probably what's holding people's wax slugs together. It's just a little bit of wax that gets through the cup. But this is a really nice look at just the wax part of a wax slug. It's a really neat looking thing. This color wax is kind of neat. It's kind of a bronzy brown color. But just look at that. But what I can do now, I'm going to use the hot glue, put some hot glue on the bottom of this thing, and I can shove it in the other way. Now it's aerodynamic. Look at this. It looks like a chapstick. Oh yeah, there we go. So get that all pushed in there. Get a nice hydraulic action on it. And there you have it. Look at that. That looks really pro. Not that I recommend shaking the wax out of your slugs, man, but I'm testing every single one of these new ones I made. And the ones that pass the shake test, they go in the box. There's really only 2 rules I have, if you want to follow along with me, is don't piss off your wife if you've got one, or your significant other, or whatever, by leaving the kitchen looking weird after you've done this. If there's wax on the floor, wax anywhere, it's easy to remove. I wanted to show you, this is a little tool I got for working with clay. You can get them at any art store. If you don't have fingernails, you can have one hell of a time picking it up. It's kind of like a little tiny piece of spring steel, like a feeler gauge material. And what's really neat about it is, see, it doesn't really have a super sharp edge. It doesn't make terrible bad scratches. And you can scrape stuff up so you can remove it. Picking it up is problematic for me. It's the same thing on your target board, on your workspace, or on your, if you have a grid board, if you bought one of my grid boards. This is a great tool for removing wax. And rule number 2, which I didn't get around to in that rambling monologue, was be safe, guys. You know, you're cutting open a factory piece of ammunition. You're dumping it out. You're putting your own stuff in. Think about everything that could possibly go wrong and prevent it by doing good technique, you know, weigh the stuff, do it in a consistent manner. Anything that's hinky, if you can't repair it, toss it. You know, that sort of thing. Don't be testing out weird loads. I put in 3 times too much shot. Let's see what happens. Your gun will probably blow up. That's what's going to happen. You know, I put in 3 charges of powder, you know, from the other ones. You got a low brass shell with powder past the brass. What's going to happen is it's just going to blow up. So don't do silly things. Just put the same weight of wax and shot back in your shot shell. You can't really go wrong that way. So be safe and don't piss off your wife.